Hey guys. It's been a minute since we've hung out, but as you can see, we're in a new location. There will be more coming soon, so stay tuned. I've been gone for a minute because I've been busy moving and with finals and stuff, but now all that's over and I'm back, and I will hopefully be on a regular uploading schedule very soon. We have a very special video and I've been very excited to share this with you guys. Today we are going to be talking about the Saturn time cube simulation by Nikola Hinton.
Yours truly.
I've mentioned before, I think once or twice on this channel, that I'm kind of into conspiracy theories and like the occult and all that. So Nikola Hinton, I will link his Twitter. I stumbled across his threads on Twitter. Basically, he would talk about conspiracy theories like the Mandela effect and like, you know, the Saturn time cube simulation. And they were just super interesting and super like informative and stuff. So I was really into it. In his bio, it said that he was an author. So I was always like, where are his books? I would be super interested. I managed to get my hands on one of, he makes like limited copies of these once in a while and drops them on the timeline sometimes. So keep an eye out for that. Today I'm gonna talk about basically what this book is about, the content, my thoughts on it. So let's just get into this book review. I know this is a different type of video than we're used to, but I hope you guys enjoy. So there are a few things to note if you are interested in reading this. First of all, it is definitely written as if it were one long giant continuous Twitter thread or like several conjoint Twitter threads. It's kind of really interesting. Definitely not mad at it. I found it an interesting stylistic choice. So essentially the book is split into half. The first half talks about the Saturn time cube simulation conspiracy theory, and then the second half talks about a couple of other conspiracy theories. So in the second half, there's chapters that are about the moon, purple rain, and the Kraken, the North and South poles, hacking the matrix, and a conclusion chapter. So this book isn't exactly like an extensive research on all these existing conspiracy theories. It's more of a collection of conspiracy theories that he's like presenting to you, and it's kind of like beautiful the way it's set up. I'll get more into that later in the video. So in order to even like really wrap your head around these theories, like all it really calls for is for open-mindedness and accepting that a connection could exist between science and spirituality. I think that's the best way I can put it. All these theories that are being presented are obviously they're theories. That's what they are. They're technically hypotheses, but they're beliefs that people have on the way things work, right? Because these haven't been proven or disproven, like it's easy to look at them at it, like come at this in a negative light and just try to prove everything wrong. So I mean, if that's what you're trying to do, then I guess you're just getting a book of things you're trying to prove wrong, which doesn't really make sense. But the point I'm getting at is it might not be the way you're used to thinking about spirituality or science, but if you have an open mind, you can really find some theories you can enjoy, or at least some entertainment out of some more entertainment than you would get out of this book if you didn't go into it otherwise, you know? So you must be wondering, what is the Saturn time cube simulation? Well, to summarize it, by the way, obviously this video is gonna have spoilers, but I will definitely let you guys know when there's like a major spoiler coming. I'm gonna try to just summarize the points, but like keep it kind of vague in case you guys are interested. Okay, but the Saturn time cube simulation. This book doesn't have page number. Small critique I had. It makes it kind of tough to like reference it. So I would definitely like appreciate that in future versions, just saying, but it's fine, it's fine. My post-it notes were good, and it's not that thick of a book, so I feel kind of, you know, but still, page numbers are nice. I'm a page numbers person. On the first page, Mr. Hinton, I don't know what to call him. Do I call him Nick? That seems too formal. I'm gonna go with Mr. Hinton for the rest of this video. On the first page he says, I believe this cube represents physical reality. In the first few pages of this book, he gets into how many references there are that associate Saturn, like the planet, with time and space, and all the different times in like media that, you know, we see representations of it as such, or even like, you know, literature, art, etc. He also associates Saturn with this cube form. I can't explain it as well as he does. definitely recommend you guys to look at his threads. They have a lot of the same information, but a little like, more condensed. Okay, but the main points I'm getting at that he says in the first couple pages to summarize this Saturn time cube simulation is, this cube is reality. Reality is a simulation. These are the premises of the book that you have to like accept. And then Saturn is associated with both time and the cube. There's many references of like Saturn being correlated with cubes, as well as Saturn being correlated with time. First half of this book explores essentially this theory that we are living in a simulation. There are different realities, etc. The first half of the book is to convince you to accept that Saturn is correlated with these things, blah, 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 right? And then in the second half of the book, based off of these premises, he presents like the other conspiracy theories, or like branches of conspiracy theories really, that are all still rooted in the Saturn time cube simulation theory. If that makes sense? I honestly consider this book to be like kind of like one of those like important like cultural texts that's like, capturing the way society is thinking about this. That's kind of a lot of what it is. He makes a lot of sci-fi like movie references in this book, which I noticed, and like that can be very helpful if you're very like knowledgeable in pop culture sci-fi references, but like some of them low-key were a little bit like obscure for me. Like, this is like a small critique. There were some times where he was like, I'm not gonna go more into this, and I was like, you know what, I wish you would go more into this. Like, please go more into this. I don't know anything about this. Like, please clarify some more. I feel like the idea is to put a collection of these ideas together for the reader to decide what they want to think, which he gets more into later in the book. But like, there is definitely room for him, if you wanted to ever do a second edition of this book, to like maybe put like, I don't know, little bubbles that go into deeper description about what some of these references are, which leads me to my second small critique, actually. So he makes a lot of matter-of-fact statements. They're referring to like actual research articles, but then he doesn't refer to the actual research articles. I just feel like it would have added a little bit more like validity to some of the claims that like, not saying that they don't have validity already, but like, I'm like, yes, this is so true that you can prove this to be even truer. You know what I mean? So this is like, I would love to see more of this. It doesn't even have to be like full on like, paragraphs of references, but like 1 or 2 sentences thrown in, I think would definitely do wonders for like elaborating, providing more things that like the reader can Google on their own to research, Otherwise, you're still gonna get the references, but it does require the audience to therefore be kind of knowledgeable in like popular like sociology and psychology like research articles, like a lot of the references, even though they are true, I feel like he's doing a really good job in presenting like these sociology and psychology theories in a way that is accessible to people that haven't had exposure to them. But at the same time, I wish he would include more references. It would just strengthen it, in my opinion. He doesn't have to do it. It's great on its own, but I'm just saying. Like, there are a few like direct references to like Karl Marx, but like it doesn't refer to Karl Marx when he's making the references to Karl Marx. A big pro, I will say, it's a super entertaining read all the way through. Like, the whole time I'm like, wow, I kind of like, I want to know what it has. The pull of his Twitter thread, it doesn't matter that they're 50 tweets long. I will sit there and I will read every single tweet, and I will like be just amazed the whole time, that he does an excellent job on. There's this really like, I don't know if he did this intentionally. If he did, it's pretty genius. Even if it was unintentional, it's even more genius. But there are like parts of the book where it feels like he's spinning off into like a manic tangent. Like, for example, on this page with the snake graphic, I have like in my notes written like unhinged. The way that this paragraph is written, just listen. Saturn's relation to the serpent makes me think of Satan. Saturn is the 6th planet from the sun. It has 6-sided shape on its north pole, and it's the 6th day of the week is Saturn Day. The serpent also looks similar to the sine wave. Funny how the sine button on a calculator says sin. Like, and it goes on like that for a minute. And honestly, it's super entertaining. While I was first reading it, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit like, oh my god, is this how the rest of the book is gonna be? But it's not. It's like very well placed paragraphs that are like, just a little bit like, oh shit, like, these theories can go a little bit, It can be very easy to see how theories can evolve rapidly by putting such upfront examples in the text. Like, I don't know, I thought it was genius. I think it's very cool, and I just definitely really appreciate the way that he presents these conspiracy theories while remaining impartial, because it really does enable you to like jump off on your own little conspiracy theory adventure, you know? Like, that's like the whole idea of it. So I kind of like, the best part of this book is definitely the conclusion. Like, after you go on the whirlwind adventure in the middle of being like sucked into all these theories, he does an amazing job of like, you know, like you get towards the end and you're like, oh my god, there are so many to think about. Like, which one am I supposed to research? Which one's the right one? Like, there's a little bit of that feeling, you know? But then like he eases that feeling by like, you know, once again connecting why all of this is important with spirituality, and then like, you know, highlighting the importance of our own take. While these theories are fun and entertaining, they are theories and they are entertainment. So, big spoiler alert, I'm gonna read the last paragraph because it's just so good. It's really worth sharing. And honestly, I don't know why I ever at any point doubted that this wouldn't end well, because like the reason I enjoy the threads is I like love the feeling I got at the end. I was like, wow, yeah, that concluded well. I've learned something today. And that's exactly the feeling I got at the end of this, you know? Like, I got new perspectives today is how it feels like. So the last paragraph of this book is, the principalities and powers we fear so much truly need us. I believe they rely on our divine power to create the worlds they live in. They are literal leeches, but in a different lens. They may be viewed as our own shadows, who are able to teach us through fear about who we are and what we're capable of. Without us, there is no them, and so they must be a part of us. Truly, there is nothing to seek or nowhere to go, and to find heaven is to return home. It was a very fulfilling ending. I was very satisfied with it. Obviously, like, all conspiracy theories like evolve around the idea of these higher powers. The way he minimizes those higher powers to not still be higher than ourselves. I don't know. It's corny, it's cute, I like it. So I bet you guys are wondering, did I find any cool conspiracy theories that I latched on to? And the answer is yes. Oh my god, I have a conspiracy theory now. We can credit it to Nick Hinton. This is not a theory that he outwardly even said. This is the theory I have now, I feel like, formulated, or maybe he did imply this kind of, and maybe I'm just thinking I'm smart for figuring it out. But either way, so there's this bit in this book where he talks about Nikola Tesla. You know, not Elon Musk, not the company Tesla, like the actual dude Nikola Tesla, right? Like back in the Edison days, Nikola Tesla, I guess. I didn't know that. He says here, allegedly 80% of like electrical device type things that we use today could be accredited to actually Tesla and not Edison, like we usually do when we like, you know, think about who invented electricity. More so than that, Tesla also claimed to have made like death rays and like time travel machines. And that part like is the part that kind of like, you know, drew me in. In March 1895, a reporter finds Tesla outside a cafe and he just looks pretty beat up. The reporter asked why. Let me just read this part. Tesla told him he had just been hit by 3.5 million bolts of electricity. He then described how contact with the electromagnetic charge caused him to go out of his space and time window. He said that he had been able to see the past, the present, and the future at the same time. They asked him to replicate this again for the Philadelphia experiment with Einstein. That just obviously we don't know what came of that. You know why? Because after Tesla died in 1943, the US government seized his property. All right, so I'm gonna go a little crazy now because I'm about to throw in some theories I've had from the past, some theories now I have from here. So basically, the US government seizes all of Tesla's, like, you know, blueprints and research and everything after he's dead, right? And remember, like, if most of the way we use electricity is credited to Tesla, like to this day, and we as a society aren't taught that, there is a reason. The person that the US government hired at the time to go through Tesla's research and to see if there was anything significant, findings or whatever, that guy was Dr. John G. Trump, Donald Trump's uncle. That's crazy. Okay, but what I think this is what I think. I believe Tesla. I feel like he's a smart guy. I feel like he totally could have done what he says he did and like seen like the timelines. And low key, I feel like he picked one. Or whatever the one he thought would happen in his reality, in his brain at the time. I feel like that's the one that we are all living in today, actually. Because let's say he hypothetically did end up messing with the space-time continuum, right? And he was the only guy that so far is reported to even claim to have done that would have the ability to do such a thing, right? And the government's trying to hide what he did. Now, I also believe in spirituality, and part of me definitely feels like Tesla was like a clairvoyant in general. That's why he was seeing everything. But I also believe he was really smart. I also personally do believe in the multiverse theory. And I also believe in the Mandela effect. So I still believe that, you know, our realities are shifting whenever one of those happens. I think when Tesla shot himself with all those bolts of electricity, that he must have aligned time and space to go with where he thought, you know, what his perception of the future and past were. So I feel like that is the route we are like aligned in. And that's why characters like the Trumps are reoccurring characters in, you know, obviously that's not why, you know, I'm not stupid. I understand that we have voted him in and we need to vote him out, but I also just believe that if we are stuck in someone's timeline, it would make sense that we are stuck in Tesla's timeline. I don't know. Obviously, this is just theory, and I don't know how hard I believe it is. It's not about like I'm about to like, you know, drop all my beliefs, but I definitely think that that could be a thing, is all I'm saying. Point is, this book is a really fun time. You guys will definitely have just as much of a fun time as I did, I think, coming up with your own little theories if you guys can get your hands on this book. Like I said earlier, I did get in touch with him, and I did find out that he's working on another book that is gonna, he said it's gonna be more about himself or something. I really definitely hope it is. The one thing that like I guess I like wanted more out of when I purchased this book was to know what he really thought, you know, what his opinions were, which while I'm glad that he did a good job at refraining them, I do still want to know them. And not only that, I'm also genuinely, maybe it's just because I'm a snoopy person, I'm genuinely interested in what kind of person this man is. Like, you know, he knows all these theories, he collects them all. I kind of want to know about his personal life and all that, you know? I want to know how he grew up and what led him to like, you know, researching these theories and like collecting them and what his process is. So I would love to see all that in like the future book. But yeah, besides that, like I'm super excited to see what else he does. Had a great time. Definitely recommend it if you guys are into conspiracy theories too, to check it out. But yeah, that is pretty much everything I have to say. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's a little different. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't. Definitely comment what your guys' favorite conspiracy theories are. I would love to know. And I will see you guys very soon.